After a 30-year hiatus, I decided to get back into building scale models again. I recently threw together some model kits that I had been holding on to for ages, but I wanted to do even more with the hobby. I want to sculpt terrains, install cool fiber optics, and tinker with dioramas. But I was stuck in a small, spare bedroom that turned into a disaster zone after only a few short weeks. I can't possibly work like this. After having committed every square inch of space in my house to other interests, like my dedicated home theater, gaming room, music room, and wife's studio loft, I was losing hope that I could do what I had been waiting to do for 30 years. However, there is a tiny bit of unfinished space left in the basement. When our house was being built, the architectural plans were made available to me so I could start designing the home theater. After construction was completed, they installed things in the wrong places, and I had to ditch my original plans, which included a finished area, where they ended up installing the sump pump. Out of desperation, I decided to work around this and push forward with one more home improvement project, building a 1-to-1 scale model and hobby room. Follow along as I turn this unfinished area of the basement into a finished studio space that my wife has labeled Studio B. Getting right into it, I'll start with the architectural plan of the basement and scale it in AutoCAD. In red are the poured concrete basement walls I'll be working within. At about 8 feet above the concrete slab floor is the structural beam supporting the first floor. With the location of the sump pump and water heater added, the structural beam runs down the middle of both of them, allowing me to place a wall there. Okay, go away, background. Below the area is an existing wall from when I did the home theater build, so I will be expanding from that for this hobby room. The actual measurement of the room is just shy of 19 feet wide by 12.5 feet deep, giving me roughly 218 square feet of space to work with. The room I am escaping from is around 11 foot by 11 foot, gaining me just over 100 more square feet here. With the physical measurements made, I can place the stud walls in the room to help me budget and order materials. I'll be using standard 2x4s at 16-inch stud spacing, while the area below and around the structural beam will be 2x6 studs. I settled on a 30-inch solid core door to help reduce sound from the furnace directly outside the room. The door is carefully placed between a water heater and an existing wall to allow a wire rack and a table already in use in the basement that I otherwise would have no room for. Also, the door opening provides just enough clearance to avoid the sump pump. My work surface ideas were all over the place until I locked in a decision to go with a total of 5 6-foot wide by 30-inch deep solid wood countertops. With the work surfaces all set, I can now place a couple more wire racks already in use down there for additional storage. With the furniture element complete, I test to see if I have enough room to navigate the area by placing some 30-inch wide chair markers. I definitely have plenty of room. Lighting is critical, and I chose a total of 10 6-inch LED lights that will be dimmable. I thought, what the heck, throw a couple of 8-inch in-ceiling speakers in there while I'm at it. My power requirements are simple. USB power outlets out the wazoo, and all of them installed above the counter. The countertops along the top of the room will be placed on floor standing cabinets. 3 12-inch wide and 1 24-inch wide. Above the countertops, shown in green, are a few rows of 12-inch shelving, and at the last minute I decided I needed under-counter pull-out drawers as shown in the blue rectangles. Of course, my work drawings are fully dimensioned and every stud and outlet is placed with exact purpose to make installation easier. Once I've gone over the design enough times on paper and in my head, I order as much as I can to get started quickly. With the order placed, I have a few weeks before delivery and have to get this basement cleaned and ready for work. Once I clear out most of the junk, I start tearing out the power cables and begin installing the new LED lighting. I picked up a 10-pack of these flush mount LED lights from Amazon since they were not that expensive. Many of the items shown in this video will be linked in the description. The lights come with a junction box, and I make sure to set them all to 5000 Kelvin before mounting. 8 boxes are mounted so far, and it's time for my delivery. It's quite the spectacle to have a construction delivery in the middle of the day, especially when one order is broken up across multiple stores and different trucks. First arrival of the day is a pallet of drywall and some wood. The second delivery is framing lumber and insulation. Upon inspecting my booty, I have the 12-inch shelves, which are just cheap lumber boards, some pressure-treated 2x6 lumber, the balance of all the framing lumber in 2 heights. I ordered extra of everything to be safe. I wanted insulation everywhere, and I'm sure it was overkill, but it makes me feel better. A 30-inch solid core door and 1/2-inch drywall, the lowest cost I could get delivered. During the checkout process ordering these materials, I had the option for some items to be shipped so I could get them faster. This box was shipped FedEx with practically no filler in it, and several items were busted open and rolling around loose. Luckily, nothing was missing or unsalvageable. Now that I have almost all the items I need, I'll start placing the pressure-treated lumber on the ground as the base layer for my walls. I begin the tedious process of drilling out pilot holes for the ramp set gun, since it has never actually fired down through an entire piece of lumber into the cement completely. This gun is crappy, and every time I use it, it's like making pancakes. The first few don't turn out so well, not for me at least. To show that I'm not a complete imbecile, here is another one from later in the video. That's what I was going for. With each plank of pressure-treated lumber in place, I used the laser level to assist with lining up the ceiling planks. When I have enough planking on the ground and ceiling, I prepare a wall to slide into place. I've marked off all the stud locations and assembled the wall on the ground. Using my framing nailer loaded with 3.5-inch nails, I go to town making me some walls. I lifted the wall to put it in place while desperately hoping my measurements were on point. The wall fits with minimal effort, and off camera I level it and nail it into place. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm not a pro, so don't do any of the things you see in this video. Thinking ahead, I mark all the studs on the slab foundation for future shelving brackets, eliminating the need to use a stud finder when it comes time to install the shelves. Okay, so I got a couple wall sections up, but I need to get the ceiling wiring finished. After a couple days messing around up there, I finally got the entire wiring path and connections made. Using a spare PC cable, I snip the female end off and wire it directly into the power feed junction box for the lights. I plug it into an extension cord and test that they all work. There be light here. I wanted to fill the rafters above with 6-inch thick fiberglass insulation, mostly to reduce the thumpy, echoey sound from walking around upstairs, and as an attempt to improve the low-end bass response of the sound system located directly above the hobby room. Also, the sooner I get this done, the faster I can get the studs up onto the ceiling, so the new walls running perpendicular will have something to attach to. Days later, this half of the ceiling is complete and ready for a new wall. With pressure-treated lumber base plate ready, I use the good old laser level trick and mark off the ceiling beams. And prepare another wall. As I make progress, the inevitable doom of trying to work around this steel beam sets in. Up till now, I haven't figured out the best way to tackle this since I've never done anything like that before. For the sake of time, I will wrap this up now, and in the next video, I'll figure this out and get a few steps closer to building some models down here. Please like, subscribe, and all that crap. It helps me out. Thanks for watching.